I see so many familiar faces. Many of you have had a tour with me in the Groove Tech, yet another building donated by JNF to look after our community. Eshkol region is one of the largest regional councils. We share borders with both Gaza Strip and Egypt. We have 32 communities. We produce about 75% of Israel's fresh fruit and vegetables, and we live in these small communities. JNF has been with us. Our problem didn't start on the 7th. Uh, our region is an ongoing emergency routine. We have up to 15 seconds to get to shelters in our region, and incoming rockets, incendiary fires, balloons, kites is nothing new for us. What is new is the massacre that happened on the 7th. Now, obviously, we have had a long-standing relationship with JNF, whether it be bringing new people to live in our region, our resilience treatments, which are trauma treatments. JNF has been with us every step of the way, and they will continue to be with us, not only today, but tomorrow and in the future as well. What our future holds, I cannot tell you. Today, I'd like to take that hat off and speak to you as a mother. I'm a mother of 4 children and a grandmother of 3. And I have a daughter who just emigrated, and she was living in Yated. And if Yated had 28 terrorists in it, and they had no electricity, the electricity was cut by the infiltrators. My daughter was on the phone to me, Mom, what do I do? And I'm saying, be quiet. Don't just send me messages. Stay with the shelter locked. Mom, the door doesn't lock. Our shelters are there to protect us from incoming rockets, which, as we speak now, rain down on our communities. So yesterday somebody has a home, and today they no longer have one. So this is ongoing. They're there to protect you from those incoming rockets. They are not there to stop infiltrations. We were trying all kinds of things, dismantling the handle from the outside so we could stay inside and just be safe. We were locked in those homes. We were told not to go out. We weren't allowed outside, to stay away from windows. We were told there was infiltration. Basically, we all awoke at about 6:15 in the morning with between 3 to 5,000 rockets coming into our region. We all had to run to shelter. We assumed it was just a natural, normal attack of rockets, the things we have on a daily basis. Then we understood that there were terrorists, and the terrorists were within our communities, and they were going house to house. We, in our region, we rely heavily on our community, and each community has a head of first response, emotional, physical, absolutely everything. The firefighting, the messages were going around, people saying, please help us, we can hear Arabic. The terrorists had IDF uniforms on, and they were knocking on doors and speaking in Hebrew and saying, IDF, open up. And some people felt trapped to that. Obviously, the messages are what saved us, our internal messages. We had 3 military bases overrun. So we had no response from the army for, I think the quickest response was 6 hours. So the community were left to fend for themselves. Now, as a mom, I have another daughter who is living in Re'im. Her husband is in the special forces. When they heard the Nova party was really close to them, and they heard the bombing, first of all, so everyone ran to a shelter. And he listened and he heard the firing of automatic weapons and the absolute non-stop shooting, and he realized this is not our IDF. And he also recognized that the weapons weren't ours. And he said to my daughter, immediately into a car, they have a little 11-month-old baby. They jumped in a car and started to race out of the building. It took them out of the kibbutz. It took them possibly 3 minutes. On the way, they phoned us and they said, get out of the region. And we were, are you crazy with this amount of rockets coming in? Why are you on the road? He said, it's a gut feeling. Please just listen. As they turned out of the kibbutz, they passed the shootout on the Urim junction, where cars were on the road and terrorists just opened fire and just shot people in their vehicles. My daughter said she saw the glass and the bullet holes and the blood, and she said she thought it has to be an accident. Her brain wouldn't comprehend what was happening. He, of course, understood and realized he had to go as fast as possible. All the time, she's receiving the messages from the community saying, they're in our neighborhood, we can't breathe, they're burning us. And she's saying, do I read this to my husband? His parents are there, his brother is there. And he's saying, read me the messages, I need to know what's going on. So they continue driving, and she's reading messages, and she's telling him, they're in your parents' neighborhood. And all this time, their little 11-month-old baby did not cry once. They did a 3-hour journey, and the baby did not make a sound. Yesterday, she was in with rehabilitation dogs, where they take little ones and they bring dogs who help them get over these traumas. The age limit, there is no age limit. The atrocities performed against our people were from the age of infancy, unborn, up until seniors. My son goes to school in our local school, Nofé Hapsor, and this is where the Groove Tech is, directly next to that building, an innovative learning center funded by JNF to help our children. He's got 10 children from his class missing. He had to attend a funeral for a little girl who just had her bat mitzvah. There was no limit to the attack, and speaking as a mother, I don't know what to tell you. It wasn't just the 7th, the 8th, the 9th, the 10th, we were locked in our homes. There were still terrorists walking between our homes. There were terrorists inside our residents' homes holding them hostage, and the IDF had to free them. We got evacuated with an army convoy along the Egyptian border. We were the last evacuation of the day, as the other group tried to go through the backfields and they got shot upon. So we lost residents once again. We have some communities where we've lost a quarter of our residents. We've got others where we don't have the local security patrols. We no longer have anybody who's alive. You guys have all met our Rav Shatz from Magen. A Rav Shatz is almost like a neighborhood watch. He joined us on many of our tours. His leg has been amputated. It doesn't end. There isn't a resident in our region that isn't impacted on a personal level. I don't know what else to tell you. I don't want to go into the details. We're all now living in evacuation. We have 16,000 residents evacuated. We have no idea when we will be going home. Some don't have a home to go to. So we live from hotels and waiting to know what the next step will be.
So, Carey, obviously your story is heartbreaking. Many of us on this call today know you. We know you well. We've been with you at the Groove Tech and in other locations, and we've always had a great time together. This is not a great time together.
No, this is definitely not. And I wanted to add that people have lost their animals as well. Animals were petrified. I lost my little guy. I had a beautiful little Jack Russell, and with the incoming bombs, he ran, and we found him riddled with holes. He didn't make it. And many animals are just roaming the streets, and we're trying to find and collect them. It's impacted every form of life in our region.